Within the chaotic infinity of the multiverse, one must watch. As universes burn and new realities emerge, evil lies deep within and heroes rise to meet it. Between oblivion and the one above all things are possible. Beneath the Watcher's eye, marvels are born.
Welcome, Adam. I'm glad to be recording something with you again. It's been a while.
I'm glad to be back.
I've asked you to join me today. You had a really good idea as to pitching an alternate MCU and MCU in the eyes of yourself, myself. We both made phases, and I'm just excited to go through them with you.
I'm excited to go through this too. It's going to be such a great experience. One could say that it's going to be fantastic.
It's definitely going to be fantastic.
Our viewers should always know that when it comes to us, it always ends up being two-parters.
We're big yappers. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell them.
Tell them to tune in. That's what you tell them.
just sit there and listen. All right. Well, I guess without further ado, I would like to take a drink first. But
I got you.
I would like to start this. I was very excited about this. As soon as you brought this idea up, I didn't have a solid idea, but I knew who my premier superhero was going to be for it. It's obvious. It's obvious. I can already grab it. Like it's right in front of me. I can grab so many Spider-Man things. My initial hero was going to be Spider-Man. Like he was going to be my focus. But
of course,
before I get to that, I would like to. I'm going to reveal mine, and then I would like to ask for yours. My saga, because the saga that we've received from MCU, it was the Infinity Saga, and then led into the Multiverse Saga. My saga is the Contest to Champions saga.
Interesting.
And what's yours?
Name is still kind of pending, but the name that I currently have for it is I'm currently calling it the Digital Saga.
Interesting. If it changes, we're gonna have multiple videos. So
so the main bare bones, those aren't going anywhere. I think there's something better out there than the Digital Saga. I think that there's something better that reaches for what I'm looking for. As of right now, I'm calling it the Digital Saga.
I'm writing my notes. I think it's kind of funny. Explicitly, my Spider-Man notes are on my iPad, but besides that, the rest of them are in my notebook.
Interesting. All of mine are on my phone. In the Notes app.
My Spider-Man ones are in my Notes app.
Notes are for taking notes.
Notes are for taking notes. All right, so I guess I'm just gonna hop right into it, and I already told you Spider-Man's gonna be my first. We're gonna alternate. I'm gonna give my first movie, then we let Adam give his first movie. I believe Adam has. I only have 6 projects. I have a 7th, but there's not much for my 7th. It is a TV series, but I didn't go into it too deep. I went kind of deep into most of my movies. But just generally, I have a general idea for what my TV series would be. And I know Adam has more than I have, so I'm just going to get into it and start talking, and then I'll alternate between Adam, and Adam will give it back to me, and etc.
Hell yeah.
So my phase 1, I gave themes for each of my phases, and my first phase, the themes would be overcoming human nature, like overcoming hate, bigotry, hunger, poverty, war. My brain, why are superheroes around? Superheroes are around to make a better tomorrow, and to create a better tomorrow, you need to be able to overcome the issues of today. So that is why overcoming human nature is my big theme. And Spider-Man is my first movie. I don't have a good name for my Spider-Man movie, and it makes me really sad. And hopefully, when we come back to this, I'll be able to give it a better name. But currently, it would be Spider-Man Slayers, and it would be Spider-Man Slayers. My movie focuses on Spider-Man, Michael Morbius. He's a college student at this point. Spider-Man is in college. I guess the main cast, which is easiest for me to say, because I wrote down the main cast, and I wrote down what are their motives. So my main cast is Spider-Man, Peter, Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn, Michael Morbius, J. Jonah Jameson, Dr. Connors, and Dr. Warren. And then Aunt May. But Aunt May is really just at the beginning of the movie, Peter's going to write a letter to Aunt May. And then at the end, he's going to write a letter to Aunt May type thing, just to give an update as to how his life's going, because he's in college now.
Right.
A general thing, I guess. I'm going to start with Michael Morbius would be the focus of my movie. It's called Spider-Man Slayers. The main villain of my movie is going to be the Spider Slayers. And so Spider-Man's going to come up against 3 different iterations of the Spider Slayers throughout his movie, which will be pretty fun. But Morbius is going to be our deuteragonist. Obviously Spider-Man's our protagonist, but Morbius is going to be the second fiddle. And Michael's going to he's going to come to Empire State University. Empire State University has a lead in biochemistry, so he's going to come there for the biochemistry program in hopes of curing. He has a rare blood disease. He's going to hope to cure that. And on his first day, Spider-Man's going to save him from a Spider Slayer attack. Like, it's just going to be like collateral damage. Spider-Man's going to save him. He's going to be like, cool, Spider-Man's a cool guy. He's in the same class as Peter Parker, and he's assigned a partner, and it's going to be Peter. And they have to pick for an internship. It's like out of a hat. They're going to pick who they're going to be interning with. And Peter is going to be really, really hoping that he gets to intern with Dr. Connors, but they're going to get Dr. Warren, who is a leading in biochemistry and like in genetics. And that's exactly what Michael Morbius wanted, because he has issues. And he's hoping that while working with Dr. Warren, they'll be able to crack whatever rare disease he has in himself. So they're going to get Miles Warren. Morbius is going to be really excited. Peter's going to be like outwardly disappointed. The Peter from my college like trilogy for him, a lot of like if you read Spider-Man, he has like a chip on his shoulder the entirety of his college era. Like it's like he's got something to prove the entire time. And I guess not even high school. Like in high school, he's not even like really nice. Like even in high school, he kind of has a chip on his shoulder, at least in the comics from like the 60s. Oh, the era of the Marvel universe, it takes place like the 60s, 70s. I think it works best if it takes place in the past with characters like Reed Richards, Tony Stark. Like they're innovating things from the future, like for the future. So those things stand out much, much more. It's more of a marvel that these things exist. But back to Morbius. Morbius is going to throw himself into this internship. He meets Dr. Warren, and throughout the movie, they're going to develop like a very close student-teacher bond. Dr. Warren, we're going to find out he has a real problem with mutants, and mutants exist in this universe. All of the factions of the Marvel universe, like the basic ones like Fantastic Four, X-Men, Avengers, like they're out there. They just don't usually cross paths. Like if something calls for it, they will cross paths, but they don't get into each other's way all the time. But Morbius is going to learn more about Miles Warren, and he's going to find out that he has a real issue with mutants. And through working with Morbius, he's going to like break through that kind of shell and be like, hey, they're not that bad. Like you shouldn't be discriminating because they're born a certain way, because Morbius was born a certain way and he's been treated a certain way all his life. He's like, you shouldn't treat mutants, you shouldn't treat them how you do. And he's going to like break the ice between that. I guess I'm running through this through Morbius' perspective. I would have a couple other characters, which will be faster. Morbius is just my largest chunk.
Right.
So basically, they're going to learn from each other throughout this movie. In this movie, Gwen Stacy's here. Her dad's going to die. It's going to be like a Spider Slayer attack. And in the collateral damage, I think in the comic, Captain Stacy, it's like a Green Goblin attack. And Captain Stacy like pushes a kid out of the way, and then he gets crushed under the rubble. And then Peter gets down there, and he's like, Captain Stacy, and he's like, protect my daughter, or something like that. And it's gonna be like a similar thing where Captain Stacy's gonna save some kid when there's rubble from the Spider Slayers. But yeah, Captain Stacy's gonna die, and after that point, Peter's not gonna be really present during a lot of these his internships, because Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he's absent a lot of the time. And after the death of Captain Stacy, working the like Spider-Man No More thing into this, he's trying to get rid of his powers. And who better than a biochemist, Dr. Warren, like he deals with genetics and stuff like that, to try and purge his powers. So once Captain Stacy dies, Peter's going to start showing up to his internships a lot more, and it's going to like kind of upset Morbius, because it's Michael, but I'm just calling him Morbius. But it's going to upset Morbius because Morbius has sunk so much time into this. He's trying to fix his problem he's had since birth, and Peter's just like kind of there, but he's going to force himself into there. While Morbius won't want to admit it, they make leaps and bounds in the research because of Peter, because he's really, really intelligent. And then they create a cure. Dr. Warren's really, really proud. He praises both of them. He's like, he's going to take this to the board, and he's going to see if they'll approve it for testing, and etc. So they're both going to leave. And in the middle of the night, Morbius, because he, again, rare blood disease, he's going to sneak back into the facility to try and get the cure and like use it on himself as a test, because this is what he's been doing. This is his goal the entire time. So he's going to sneak in, and when he sneaks in, he's going to find Peter Parker already there. And he's going to find Peter injecting himself with the serum, and he's going to freak out. He's going to like alert the security, and Peter's going to like escape. Peter's going to run out. And then Morbius is going to be like really, really upset about it. And he's going to inject himself with the cure, because he's been focusing on this so that he could cure himself. He's going to inject himself with it But unbeknownst to himself, this is going to be a change from the comic, but I think it's a good change, especially for a character like Morbius. It's going to activate an X gene within him, and his mutant gene is going to be he's going to like transform into a vampire. Like that's going to be his mutant thing, and he's going to become Morbius. And Morbius is going to like freak out, and he's going to turn to the vampire, and he's going to escape. And the entire day, no one hears from either Peter or Morbius. But that following night, Dr. Warren is going to get a visit from Peter and Morbius at the same time. Morbius has become a vampire, and Peter has his 6 arms. That's what the serum did to him. He was trying to cure his abilities, and it just made it worse. And he's going to show up, and they're both going to show up to Dr. Warren and be like, we need a cure. This cure, it only activated Morbius's mutant gene. It does nothing more for him, but it's going to progressively irritate the radiation thing that's going on in Peter's body, and it's going to change him from just 6 arms to like a spider monster. He's going to like leave the building, and it's going to be up to Morbius to like try and save him. But once Peter leaves as like the big spider monster, Morbius and Dr. Warren, they're going to like put pieces together, but they're not going to know that he's Spider-Man. Like they're going to see like the spider, they're going to be like, that's kind of weird, but they can't like prove that he's Spider-Man, but they have a hunch. But the spider monster is going to go out into the city, and then the final Spider Slayer of the movie is going to show up, and it's going to start fighting the spider monster, and Morbius is going to go and try and save him. And while he's doing that, Dr. Warren's going to try and develop a cure for Peter. So Morbius is going to like start getting a hold of his powers. He's going to go save Peter. It's going to be a rough battle, but he's going to beat the Spider Slayer. He's going to get Peter when he's incapacitated and bring him back to the lab. And Dr. Warren and Morbius are going to be able to reverse Peter. And when they try it for Morbius, it won't work. And he's a mutant now. So he's going to like freak out and he's going to flee. And Peter's going to come back too. And then he's going to leave and he's going to talk to Gwen about it. That's the vague plot of it. I'm going to run through Gwen, Harry. This is the only movie I did this for. I broke it up into characters, but it's because I just care about Spider-Man that much. But I'll go through this one. There's a little faster because it's much less. Gwen's going to get an internship. She's also going to college with Peter. She's going to get an internship at Oscorp. Peter and Gwen have been dating for a while, and due to their friendship with Harry, Norman's going to assign Gwen to the team that's building the Spider Slayers. Spencer Smythe, I believe, he's going to be the one headlining the Spider Slayers thing at Oscorp, and Gwen's going to work underneath him. Gwen's going to be an engineer, like an engineer major. So she's working with him throughout the movie. She's going to like tell Peter about like what she's doing at her internship, but little does she know she's giving Spider-Man the information he needs to be able to defeat the Spider Slayers. It's like in Star Wars, there's that tiny compartment of the Death Star that you shoot a thing into. Like that's the type of stuff she's going to be like revealing to Peter, but she doesn't really know. So she's also going to have to deal with the death of her father, and Peter's not going to be around because he's not only is he going to be like, I'm responsible for the death of your dad, he's also going to go through the spider monster phase. So he's just not going to be there. And over this time, she's going to spend time with the Osborns. She's going to spend time with Harry, and that's going to leave with spend time with Norman. Norman outwardly detests Spider-Man. So will Harry, because he wants Norman's approval. And she will start to dislike Spider-Man. And at the end of the movie, Peter's going to show up at her house and like reveal the truth to her that he is Spider-Man. And I think that's going to be a big thing because in the comics, he never tells her that he's Spider-Man. And I have issues about that. So there's going to be that. Harry's going to be Peter's roommate. I've always liked the fact that they became roommates. I love that a lot. I almost made Johnny Storm his roommate, but I was like, Johnny Storm's going to be with the Fantastic Four. Like, he has no reason to really be rooming with Peter. But Harry's not going to be the greatest student. He's mostly carried by his dad's name. He's going to be doing drugs. And when he's around, he's going to be like the funny pothead of the group. And we'll get a moment where Peter comes home from being Spider-Man and Harry's going to see him, but he's going to be like, really, really, really high. And then the next morning he's gonna be like, Peter Man showed up, or like Spider Parker was here, or something like that. He's gonna be super confused. But he's gonna spend most of the movie isolated, and he's gonna turn to his neglectful father. He was gonna let him in on the goblin stuff he's been working on, and it's gonna make him the hobgoblin for the next movie.
Right.
J. Jonah Jameson. Peter quits the Bugle in this movie. He's gonna be working at the Bugle. So J. Jonah Jameson, he's going to finally have enough of Spider-Man, and a mystery benefactor is going to be Norman Osborn. He's going to reach out to J. Jonah Jameson, and he's going to be like, your star photographer can get me information on Spider-Man, and we can get a jump on him, and also we can use your publicity of the death of Captain Stacy to make Spider-Man a real, like a vigilante, a menace. Like, he's really a monster in the public eye, which makes Spider-Man's life harder, and they're going to try and, like, terminate Spider-Man for good. J. Jonah Jameson will be visited by Spencer Smythe. He's going to deliver J. Jonah checks throughout the movie, and he's going to update him on the Spider Slayer project. Peter's going to quit the Bugle after Captain Stacy's death, and JJJ is going to be an antagonist in this movie. I'm hoping that by the end of the Spider-Man trilogy, JJJ is going to be not a protagonist, but he's not going to hate Spider-Man. Just two left. I'm going to do Dr. Connors and Dr. Warren's. Dr. Connors is short. Peter will check in on Dr. Connors throughout the movie. He's going to be like the woe is me type of stuff. He's going to complain to Dr. Connors. He's really going to make him question, you know what, like, why shouldn't I be trying more to create something to give myself a second arm? And he and Dr. Connors is going to seek out help from Dr. Warren, and they'll be working on that in the background, the lizard stuff.
Right.
And we're going to get to Dr. Warren. Last thing, he's a biochemist. He hates mutants. He's secretly developing a cure for mutants, and that's what the cure for Michael Morbius like turns into. Like he pivots from trying to cure mutants to try and help Michael, but Michael seeks him out to help him developing a cure for his blood disease. And Peter wanted to be a student teacher under Dr. Connors, and he's disappointed under Dr. Warren. Throughout the movie, Peter is lackluster in all the normal ways. He's late, he's absent, he's disinterested in biochemistry. Michael will begin to change Dr. Warren's mind on mutants, and he's going to begin to shift his focus towards helping solve Michael's blood disorder. After a few weeks after the death of Captain Stacy, Peter will be around more, and he's going to force his way into the research. Peter is going to steal Miles Warren from Michael, but they're going to create the cure, and Warren's going to go home, and then the next day, he's going to find his lab wrecked, and then whenever he goes home, Morbius is going to visit him, and Peter's going to visit him. Again, as I've already gone over, Peter's going to have his 6 arms, and Morbius is going to be a vampire. Spider-Man's going to crash out and rampage and leave, and Morbius is going to be like, can you create a cure for us? And he's going to go try and save Peter. And Warren's going to rush back to the lab. He's going to synthesize the cure. Many hours later, Morbius is going to return with the monster Peter, and they're going to fix Peter. It's going to be much easier to fix Peter, but once they try to fix Michael Morbius, it's not going to work. It's a mutant gene. Morbius rages and he flees. Peter gets cured. He leaves. And Michael Warren is going to pivot his research with all the samples he has. He's going to pivot his research from mutant cure to cloning. And that's going to be the gist of this Spider-Man Slayers movie.
I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Thank you, Adam.
I like that it connects characters from different, not necessarily different worlds, but different sections of the world.
Correct.
Like, Warren isn't necessarily super associated with Spider-Man, but to use Warren with Spider-Man is a very interesting take, I think, and also I really like the idea of giving Morbius an X gene. That's very creative on your part. I would like to see that. That would be really cool for so many reasons when it comes to mutants, to have characters outside of just the X-Men stories being mutants.
And the next movie is going to be the X-Men movie, so we're going to see Morbius again because he's a mutant.
Couldn't ask for more at that point. I mean, that's a really solid start. Solid start.
And I explicitly kept a bunch of the other heroes out of this one because from here on out, all heroes are going to show up in all the other ones, and Spider-Man is going to show up in every single movie from here on out because I want him to be the focus of my MCU. Not that the other characters aren't important. Like he's not going to be like super important in the other characters' movies. He's just going to be at least there.
Right, because with the superhero population of New York, the odds of bumping into another hero is so crazy. You should be walking down the street and Daredevil should be running into Spider-Man. They should just overlap so much because of where like all the landmarks are in New York City and all the landmarks that they use in the comics. They should be overlapping a lot more than they do currently in the films.
I 100% agree with that. And with that, I give it over to you, Adam. I would love to hear your first pitch.
My first film, you probably could have guessed it. When it comes to Marvel, in my opinion, there's no other place to start than with Marvel's first family. There's no better place to start. No offense to Spider-Man, Iron Man, all those other characters, but they're the first family for a reason, which is why my MCU would start out with the Fantastic Four. Now, I will preface with this. With my MCU, there's going to be a lot of characters. There's going to be a lot of overlap, but there's also going to be stuff that happens where there are reasons certain characters will appear in some projects and will not be there in other projects. And the movies will explain, oh, this is why so and so isn't here. But we're going to start with the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four, we're actually starting with their origin. And we're starting in a very similar way to, I think that the 2015 Fantastic Four movie did a great job, specifically with the first half of the film, where you get a lot of the backstory from Reed, Ben, Sue, and Johnny. You get a lot of their stuff that happens before the accident. You know, you get those interactions where you have Reed and Doom before they become Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Doom. And I kind of want to start there with Reed's college years is kind of where the movie kind of picks up. You get Reed and you get Ben, and you get Sue and you get Johnny while they're young, college level, you know, and Victor's there because the thing with the way that I view the Fantastic Four, Doom has nothing to do with their origins, like in the comics even. Doom has nothing to do with the space project that sends them to space and gives them their powers. Doom's just an old college rival of Reed's. Doom doesn't end up being, he ends up being mostly a introductory cameo during Reed's college years. You see them bicker and butt heads a bit. And then when Reed graduates and Doom graduates and goes back to Latveria, you don't really see a whole lot of Doom from that point. So then we get into Reed builds the rocket that takes them to space. It's completely an unsanctioned flight. Reed just decides to do it. They go, they fly up there, they start investigating, and then they hit the cosmic storm. The cosmic storm gives them their abilities. They come back down to Earth. And when they come back and realize that they have abilities, Reed is kind of going to be looking specifically for Ben, not necessarily for all of them. But because of the fact that Ben is so unhappy, he is going to be looking for a way to cure them of their cosmic mutations.
Yeah.
Specifically in the case of Ben, in a very similar way that the 05 movie did. Ben is really the only one that really wants the cure. I mean, Reed and Sue kind of do at first, even in the movies and even in the comics. Like, they're kind of like, oh, well, we kind of like to be normal, but at the same time, we can use these abilities to help people. And also, coincidentally, they become famous because of it, because they're Marvel's first family. They don't view the whole secret identity thing. They don't really use the whole, oh, Reed Richards is separate from Mr. Fantastic because there's a whole secret. No, the Fantastic Four is completely public figures, which is the way that it is in the comics. And they do little things, like you have little moments where, like, oh, Johnny saves somebody over here and Ben does this over here, and you know, you'll have them separated where one member of the Four is doing something really cool, and then all of a sudden the Mole Man shows up from Subterranean, because that's where the Fantastic Four begins in the comics, and I feel like that's where the Fantastic Four should start in the films. I feel like the Mole Man and all of his stuff, it's such a reoccurring thing for the Fantastic Four. He's a very reoccurring character in the comics in the same way that Doom, Galactus, all these other characters, Annihilus, all these other characters are very reoccurring. Mole Man is also very reoccurring because he has such this strong hatred of humanity that he wants everybody on the surface to die. So Mole Man comes up from Subterranea with his moloids, and he's like, I'm going to destroy the surface world, and the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to take out the power grid, but I'm starting in New York. And because of the fact that he's been underground and the Fantastic Four is still relatively new, he didn't know that there were heroes in New York. And this is when the Fantastic Four shows up and they have to thwart the Mole Man, because he starts with New York's power grid because he's like, oh, the biggest city, one of the biggest cities in the world. I'm going to start with this big population center to show the world that I'm in business.
Yeah.
And so he starts with New York going after the power grid. And actually, in a very interesting fashion, he actually manages to put New York in the dark. You know, for a little bit of the movie, the Fantastic Four actually manages to lose. And I had a couple of ideas for why, because Reed's this intelligent guy. I do think that in the same way that in the 2005 movie, he was able to figure out how to cure Ben. I think curing Ben would happen pretty early on in the films. And in the same way that the 05 movie was like, well, we lose because Ben's not there. But when the Four is together, we're stronger like this. We're stronger as a family. and bringing in that family aspect. I think he would definitely cure Ben early on, and then Ben's out of the fight the first time that they go after Mole Man,
Yeah,
and that's why they lose.
because they weren't the family.
They were not the Fantastic Four. And I think that this would lead to like Reed and Sue and Johnny potentially being captured by the Mole Man.
Mhm.
And then we switch from Reed being this main character of this film to Ben having this inner dialogue of, I don't want to be the Thing, but I kind of have to be the Thing.
Yeah, it's a responsibility thing.
So he goes back in and he makes himself the Thing again, reverses what Reed did, and he goes down there to free the rest of the members of the Four so that they can turn the power grid back on and defeat the Mole Man. And they are able to defeat the Mole Man, and then that's where, credits don't roll quite yet, because Sue and Reed by this point, because they had college and then they had all this time, Reed would probably pop the question at this point, and they would get married. And then the film would roll the credits, and then there would be 2 end credit scenes.
Okay, all right.
The first one is more of a mid-credits, and this is just Dr. Doom back in Latveria. He's watching national news coverage of what just happened in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, New York is, falling apart, da-da-da-da-da. And then it's like, oh, well, the Fantastic Four saved New York. And then he's like, oh, who is this Fantastic Four? And he sees the name Reed Richards crawl across the screen. And he's like, and all you get is like this angry, like even with the mask on, you can tell Doom anger. And all you hear is, in a low, gravelly voice, Richards. And then that scene ends. And then at the end credits, you would get Norrin Rad in front of Galactus. And this is when Galactus is like, I need you to find me a new planet. And Norrin is like, oh, I found a planet. And this is when they decide Earth is now marked for Galactus' next consumption. And that's where the movie will end.
Definitely one of the first questions I feel like most people have as soon as they get their powers is, can't Reed Richards fix the Thing? So I really like that you have given us that. You've given yes, of course he can fix the Thing, and he fixes him. But they are a family, and without him, it is definitely unfortunate. But it is a responsibility, also love thing of
exactly.
Yes, I can be human, but also these people I love need me, and they need me to be the Thing.
Exactly. I've always liked the Fantastic Four because each member plays a different role.
Correct.
Because Johnny's always going to be the comic relief. Reed is the brain. And then you kind of have, depending on the comic, depending on the arc that you're reading, it's a toss-up between Sue and the Thing as to which one of them is the heart of it.
I'm glad that it's an alternating thing. I'm glad it's not just one person.
Right. Sue is very much like the family aspect of the heart and the love, the very family aspect of the group. And then the Thing is the protector.
Mm-hmm.
This is my family. I have to protect them. That's my job. My job is to make sure that these 3 knuckleheads don't die, especially the knucklehead with the big head that doesn't always think ahead.
I know that you have not watched it, but in One Piece we have a heart of the team, but then we also have a character, Zoro. He's a swordsman. He's the protector of the team. Whenever they're like out at sea, he's always sleeping. Whenever they're out at sea, he's like training and stuff. But as soon as things get like the worst they can possibly get, he's the one that's throwing his life on the line to protect everybody else, and like including the captain, who is stronger than he is. But he's like, I have to be strong enough to protect our captain, which means I need to be able to rival our captain at all times. So like, I really like the idea of the protector is also the heart of the team.
It's really cool to have that, because in order to protect, you have to have a reason to protect.
You have to love, you have to care to protect.
Exactly. But yeah, with that, I hand it back to you for your second film.